Look, here they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get rogue. I'm going rogue.
No, there's, there they are. Dead.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, it's my bad.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I rushed in too fucking fast. Well, I gotta bind that truck. That's what I did.
Look at them. They can't even kill me. Yeah, how'd that work out for you? Yeah, could use some
My
help.
bad, dude.
Come on, revive. Stop lagging.
What are you running for? How'd that work out for you, dude? How did that work out for you? You thought you was gonna be cute again?
Did we win?
Yes.
1v3?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And I'm gonna take your shit.
Oh my god, a 1v3 dog.
Extracting a bunch of good shit if y'all want to go up there and take it from them. Don't mind us.
Oh yeah, they're
It's
going.
mostly.
Oh shit.
Found them. And I'm laggy.
Yeah, they're grenade happy.
Yeah, but he's dead.
Oh, around the other way.
Oh shit, Relentless up there. Push,
Yep.
Scepter.
Really?
I'm picking you up. Oh shit.
Got his ass down.
Grenade, watch out. They're just trying to set you on fire. Alright. They're running as usual.
We're not rogue.
Oh, they got it off.
Bro?
We are.
Who's shooting that, bro?
Healing up.
Nah, man, I'm dead, bro. Nope.
How'd that work out for you there, buddy? Thought you were cute? Cutely dead. What's up guys and gals, and welcome back to another Division 2 build video. If you happen to be new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, then be sure by all means ground and pound that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to reach up there and trigger that bell so that way you never miss a notification when a stream goes live or a video is uploaded. But anyways, as we all know, we've kind of reached the limits of how I would call build normality. That is why it is my ongoing effort to always tweak things, to mix and match, to always try different variations of all different types of builds. So that way, I, in my own opinion, are trying to find that niche of build diversity. So that way, it's not more or less the absolute best way of things. It's an alternative way that is just as good, depending on a person's playstyle. Because if you know anything about any looter-shooter game, especially when builds are involved, you should never let the build play you. You should be the one playing the build. So no matter who comes up with the idea, you should always take that idea, tweak it, change this thing and that thing based on your own personal preference and playstyle, and make it your own. So without further ado, and enough of my rambling, let's hop right into it. As you can see, we are utilizing the LMG. It is the Demolitionist because you get that extra bump in LMG and SMG damage, but we are primarily focusing on the LMG. It is the Black Market M60 E6 35.5k base with Unhinged, receive 20% weapon damage at the cost of -25, which is a very small price to pay for the big chunk of damage that you get. And of course, Allegro, you would want that in the second slot, but if you prefer, much as like capacity for that extra rounds, which is you already have 100. So in my opinion, I think you would benefit more from having Allegro in this slot. And I guess my go-to, I'd rather have Rooted, but in this case, we have Transmission. While holstered shock applied to the agent transfers to an enemy within 10 meters and can occur once every 60 seconds. 9 times out of 10, you won't run into anybody that runs into this problem and having to apply shock to something else in 10 meters. And typically it comes from NPCs if you do get shocked. Thus is though NPCs that put out those shock turrets on top of cars and things of that nature. But in the mods we have 10% accuracy, 5% rate of fire, 10% accuracy, and more accuracy. And then as our secondary, we have the Lullaby. Yes, I had the sweet dreams, but unfortunately I thought that I could craft a Ruthless earlier and didn't have the right parts, so we are left with the Lullaby. But both have the same holstered talent, which is Evasive. While equipped, dodging reloads 25% of your current weapon's magazine. And this is basically just my secondary. Now, if you prefer the lights of the Chatterbox due to the Blathermouth talent, then by all means use that as your secondary. But even I have been known to do this. But if you prefer running dual LMGs, then by all means tweak it and play as you see fit and according to your personal play preference. Now let's hop into the gear. First, we'll start with the backpack. Now with the backpack, there are better pieces out there, and I wish this one had a better armor roll. But according to the pieces of the ones I do have armor, the 8% total armor here was my best option and best choice. So when better pieces come available, then by all means I will be replacing this. But it has the 2 key talents that I wanted, which is Efficient. Using an armor kit has a 50% chance not to consume the armor kit. And of course, it requires that you use no other talents affecting armor kits. So in this case, you cannot use the talent Unbreakable on your chest piece if you are trying to utilize Efficient. And of course, Vital, plus 20% health. And then going on to the attributes, I definitely would want a higher base weapon damage along with the total armor. And then the skill power and then the crit chance, it doesn't really matter. But our main focus is the armor pool and, of course, the absolute weapon damage. Now, I haven't seen a piece that has come over with 7.5%. That's all that the RNG gods have been giving me. But if you have pieces with these right talents and higher weapon damage, then by all means do so and use them. And this, in your build, I should say, if you choose to run it this way, would be more potent. Now moving on to the gloves. It is the Murakami Industry Gloves. For one piece, you get 8% health. The attributes on this one is 2344 health, I do have pieces that have much higher health, but this is the best that I could come up with on this, and it's actually been pretty nice. That 8% additional health comes in handy, as you have seen on the left side of your screen at 175, 932 health. But we have 10% LMG damage and then 5% devastating. Now on to, I guess, the main bulk and components of this build, and that will be the 4 pieces of the Ghillie Guard. Now some will be like, but you're using 4 pieces of Ghillie Guard. Yes, it's 4 pieces. You don't get nothing for the 4th piece, except for depending on which one is your 4th piece. But starting with the mask, I am one off from being able to utilize the spotter talent on this mask, but if I'm unable to acquire a different mask that possibly I would love to have insulated to get that additional plus 10% hazard protection, but if I can find the right pieces, such along the lines of a better backpack, then I can utilize Spotter, and Spotter gives you plus 20% weapon damage to pulse enemies. But as of right now, it is definitely potent the way it is. The attributes are 4% health, and then 17,993 health, and of course in the mod slot, 173 skill power, 2% headshot kill XP, and then 1.5% explosive damage. Now moving on to the second piece, and that would be this Ghillie chest piece. For the second piece, you get plus 20% hazard protection, and on this piece, you get 20,785 armor, 10% weapon damage, and then 27,021 health. And in this case, we are utilizing Bloodsucker. Depleting an enemy's armor adds a stack of 25% bonus armor for 10 seconds. Max stack is 6. So let's round off the number here to 280 on my armor. So if I get 6 stacks, that is a total of 560k armor. And you're probably thinking you're never going to be able to get 6 stacks that fast in the time of 10 seconds. Well, that may be true, and I haven't done it yet, but I have gotten 4. And 4 gives me 100% exactly that 560k armor. Now, if you're able to get 6, then that's definitely going to put you well over 600k, almost at 700k. But that is not really realistic, is it? But 4 stacks is, and you don't only have to use bullets in order to take off that armor. Grenades, skills, even the specials. In order for me to get those 4 stacks, I did get some special ammo, utilizing the grenade launcher of the Demolitionist, and all that baked in additional explosive damage to come across 4 rogues that happen to be huddled all up together, and then I hit them. Did I kill all of them? No. I did down 1, but then I took off the armor of the other 3. And at that same instant, I got 4 stacks of Bloodsucker. So it is possible, but just keep in mind you don't have to use only bullets in order to take off the armor. But in the mod slots, moving on, we have 7458 health, 7% health regen, and 692 armor regeneration. We get an additional 117 skill power, plus 280 chem launcher skill power, and 158 pulse skill power by way of utility mod. And then in the next slot, a defensive system mod, we get 5107 armor, 3% total armor, and then 1619 armor on kill. Now moving on to the holster. The holster, we got 42,748 health, and then an additional 371 skill power. And this is why I like Ghillie holsters for this instance. You could have a different holster with such things by way of devastating as a talent. But with the Ghillie, you are able to have 2 offensive mod slots. And in these mod slots, I actually have 4% LMG damage and 1% weapon damage in one, which is equivalent to the talent Devastating. But then on the other, I get an additional 2.5% weapon damage, 1.5% headshot damage, and 3% optimal range. So it definitely is more bang for the buck versus just another different type of holster that doesn't have offensive mod slots, but does have Devastating on them. So that is one of the reasons why I like them. Now also, I do have other mods that give me even more that can easily go in there, and I have other on several builds, but unfortunately with the LMG, the highest one I have is the 5% total. Now on the ARs, I do have some that reaches 6. So if you do have better mods, then by all means use them, then that will make your weaponry even more potent and put out more damage. Now on to the knee pads. The knee pads is the reason I like Ghillie knee pads, is also for the attribute chunk and also the other 2 defensive mod slots you can put in it. Now on this one, I have 11% total armor, self-adjusting, which is instead of self-adjusting, I'd prefer patience here. And then in the mod slots, we have 8663 health, 2% extra incoming healing, 4% skill health, and the other one we have 5655 armor, 445 armor regen, and then 2.5% total armor. So I do have a significant chunk of armor regen, so the self-adjusting 20% armor regeneration isn't exactly wasted. So it does come in handy until I find a better piece or another piece that can accompany this plus 20% armor regeneration by self-adjusting and another gear piece with that same talent. Now moving on to the final piece is the chest piece. And I like Gila because also it has a lots of stats on them. In this case we got 20,785 armor, and I think I've already went over the Bloodsucker. Yeah, I got all wound up in the video and I realized we've already went through all the gear. So yeah, basically it's 4-piece Gila, 2-piece other gear set by way of Petrov because of the 10% LMG damage you get from it, and of course the 8% Murakami. You can mix up different brand sets if you so choose. It's just you get a lot of bang for the buck when using Gila. There are some builds out there that even use 5 Gila, and such as if it's an AR build, only 1 Fenris, and then of course 5 with only 1 Petrov because it's an LMG build. So mix and match whatever you get the most bang for your buck out of. In this case it's 280k armor and 175, almost 176k health. And you're probably wondering how come that I'm stacking more health than typically the normal way that people run an LMG build. Well, that is because of Bloodsucker. Because of ripping off armor off either NPCs or players, I get that proc, and in turn increases my armor pool, because it doesn't matter if I get that proc at the beginning, the middle, or even the end, or having no armor at all, I still get that 25% proc, and it is directly correlated with my armor pool. And you're probably thinking, well, you would get more from that 25% the bigger your armor pool is. True, but also once your armor's gone, your health is what will keep you in the fight and keep you from completely going down. So once my armor is off, I have quite enough and tons of health in order to fall back into cover, retreat a little bit, dive in, cover any way that I can to either apply a med kit or drop a chem launcher at my feet if I don't think I have the time to apply armor kit. But the more you PvP, the more you kind of judge, and it becomes second nature as far as the distance that other players have to travel in order for you to actually get off a med kit. And once you know the timing, it's just a few seconds to put on an armor kit, then you kind of see where I'm going. You can basically second-hand knowledge, just reaction that's baked into your subconscious, knowing whether you have time to put on an armor kit or not. That's why health is just as important as armor. Even though certain talents are based on your armor pool, it is still good to stack on as much health as you can along with armor. So I hope that I don't confuse you by that analogy. So basically, the armor is going to keep you alive longer in essence, but if you don't have health, then they're going to sneeze on you, or an NPC is just going to walk by you and look at you wrong, and you're going to fall over dead. But the higher your health pool along with your armor is going to allow you to stay up a lot longer, increase your survivability, so that way either you can fall back to put that armor back on, or vice versa. And in this case, when you're utilizing the Demolitionist, once your armor is already gone, when using LMG, then therefore it refills your ammo. So it's kind of like a twofold system. Even though your armor's gone, let's say you just need a couple more bullets before you get that proc and finish taking off their armor, especially if there's either one or multiple. So that can be the deciding factor is your health pool. But let's hop on over to the character sheet before I confuse you anymore. But I hope I haven't, and I hope I've tried to be informative as possible and kind of put you in the mindset that I'm thinking, especially when it comes to PvP. But as you can see, our stat sheet, 35, 530 weapon damage. And then, of course, the negative 25 weapon handling, which is negligible. That's why I stacked on accuracy. And then once that you hop into cover, if you're using LMG, that basically negates that negative 25% because you increase your weapon handling once you are in cover. And also if you use a med kit. Thus, the whole reason for efficient on your backpack is you get 100% weapon handling for a short period of time once you use an armor kit. And so I don't run out as fast, thus efficient comes into play. And it is really, really nice. But moving on, 42.5% all weapon damage, and then 39% LMG damage. So that's over 80, see that's 70, 84.5, which is not too shabby. And then of course the pistol damage doesn't matter. Defense, 1138 armor regen, 175, 932 max health, 94,124 health regen, and then of course 20% hazard protection, bleed, blind, disorient, disrupt, shock, and 40% burn. For those pesky survivalist flame grenades and things of that nature. Or even those that choose to run a fire turret. So that definitely helps out. And as you can see, the chem launcher skill power 1064 due to the mods and then the plus skill power on those said mods. That put me up over 1k in my chem launcher, so that way I can put mods into it that will increase those heals or duration depending on your personal preference. So that way also will increase my survivability when I need to drop a little green pool at my feet. But I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I hope I didn't botch the explanation or this video. I know I stumbled a little bit, but it is like 5 a.m. Over here on the East Coast when I'm currently doing this video, so I do apologize for the mishaps. I'm just your average normal guy, just trying to be informative, putting out content, and further helping the development of the Division 2 community by looking at things, you know, not quite the same as what everybody else, and trying to actually promote some build diversity, so that way everybody's just not running the same typical build. There are multiple ways to run certain and same builds, but also you can tweak it and make it your own, and then it's a totally different build depending on the person's playstyle, no matter if you are using the same type weapons. But hope you guys enjoyed it. If it's been informative, then please, by all means, if you think that, then ground and pound that like button. And if you're new, then ground and pound that sub button. But thank you guys. We'll see you fudging later.